Right, welcome to my weekly blog for this week. This week, as you know, has been my retreat holiday, which is now about at an end. And I have done most of the things that I needed to do in this holiday. That includes the back garden clearance. Now, although it's not completed, we've gone a long way with it, and it can now be completed easily by the time we need the land clear for planting. That's not a problem at all. You'll also notice that I did more of my To the Ends of the Earth project. Again, not exactly a success. You know, the idea was to go do the bit between Stone Rings Lane and Otley Road, but I didn't quite make it to Otley Road before it got dark, and I ended up in Rossett, which was a bit of a surprise to me. So there's still more obviously to do with that. We haven't yet connected Hookstone Woods to Burt Crag, so at least we know there's still work to be done there. I have settled the issues with the gas company. I'm now doing my own meter readings, which should spur them to produce paper bills. If it doesn't, I am prepared to do online banking just so that I can print off the bills at an earlier stage. I don't actually do anything online except for print off the bills, and we've discovered that there wasn't a small gas leak after all. No, what it was a standing charge. In fact, I had used no gas at all, which was a relief to me really, because I knew that I hadn't used gas, but this big amount had appeared, and I was quite worried about that. And you know, I had the gas inspection, but it was just a free visual inspection, didn't throw anything up. So eventually I discovered that it was a standing charge, and I have now reduced the bill right down, so I'm just paying £10 a month for gas rather than 30, because it's actually now proven that I'm not using it at all, but I'd like to still have the ability to use it, obviously, and so that's saving me £20 a month already. And the standing charge, we've changed tariffs, and so there won't be a standing charge in that respect, certainly not sort of the £100 across the 6 months, nothing like that. So in the long term that's saved, you know, us paying that as well. And of course, because their readings were based on estimates, they are going to repay the £22 into the credit that they said that I'd used. So that's fine. The electricity as well, we're keeping at the same level, because we have worked out, and although we're keeping an eye on it, at the moment it looks like we're absolutely fine by being covered with the amount that we're paying. So, you know, I'm quite pleased about that. That's got that sorted out at least. I've also managed to do all my Christmas shopping, which was fantastic, and I used, as agreed, the money for the November savings for that. Next week, of course, we'll be decorating, because it will be the start of Advent. Yes, it's weird that usually Advent starts on the last week of November, but this year it doesn't, and so we're sort of running a week behind in that respect. This week is the Festival of Christ the King, which is the end of the Kingdom season, and so this little gap now is the sort of 1 week of nothingness between the end of one liturgical year and the start of another. I'm looking forward to dressing up Markenfield for that, because it will be my first Christmas here, and I'm terribly excited about it. It's going to be fantastic. So that's what next week's blog will be devoted to. American Thanksgiving has happened. So I'd like to wish a happy Thanksgiving, if it's slightly belated, to all those Americans who are watching. And I've also got a list of birthdays here. We've got Shane Workman, who was a friend from the forum, Jamie Ridgway, Ryan Jimmo, Dustin Rhodes, Dawn Yeomans, who was also a friend from the forum, Diego Nunes, Dennis Hallman and Mike Wessel are all celebrating birthdays now in this last week of November. And in fact next weekend my mother's celebrating her birthday, so lots and lots of celebration going on this week, which is fantastic because I like celebrating as much as anybody else. My belater supports this week, I've got Lyman Gooddown. He's in the championship match for the welterweight crown there, and I'm hoping that he wins that. The only other thing to really sort of say is that there are things going on in the aviary. As you know, the budgets are going a bit stir crazy because the weather's terrible, lots of wind, and I am reducing their amount of time in the flight when it's windy, which was a measure brought in response to the cull recently. So they're going a bit stir crazy. I have had issues with the canaries this week. I just had, Jojo had a broken toe about a week or two ago, and I took him to the vets. They said there was nothing that they could do for him and it would set in its own time, and it has. But I've also found now that the other one, Toby, has scratched himself as well, caused that to bleed. Thankfully it's closed wound now and there doesn't seem to be any problems. It was just a little bit of, you know, it's just a bit of, oh my goodness, not again. You've got to keep close eye on them. The finches especially, because despite there being absolutely no stimulus for them to breed at all, they're all building nests. And with the danger of them getting egg bound, I have put in nest boxes so at least I know where they are nesting, so I can quickly get to them if needs be. Haven't had that problem yet, but I'm sure that's going to be coming. So, you know, they're like children, except that they never grow up. Anyway, that's about it for my weekly blog this week. Next week we shall be dressing up, so I'm looking forward to that.